Welcome back. So because we are able to use a for loop, okay, and by the way, let me make this change here. I'm gonna put this to the preferred notation, I++, okay. So because we can use a for loop to easily iterate or go over or visit each of the elements, okay, in the array, this allows me to do very powerful things. For example, let's say instead of only printing the items in the array, I want to maybe do some computation on them. So let's say, for example, I wanted to add 5 to every item that is in that array. So I want 11 to become 16, I want 22 to become 27, and so on. Well, with a loop, I can easily do that. All I have to do when I want to iterate or traverse or go over the items, I just create a loop. I create a temporary variable, okay? And in this case, it's still 7. And then of course, we increment. Now, step 3 is where I want to do the work. So I don't want to print, I want to actually update. So I'm going to say that name of the array, the current position will be that current position, but I want to now add 5. And so if you recall, once again, back to the fundamentals, the computer will say, okay, what is values 0? It will say, oh, okay, that's 11. And as you know, it will replace all of this with 11, add 5, and end up with 16. And then that 16 will eventually be coming in here, all right? So that's what we want to actually accomplish. And to do that, it's as easy as using the name of the array and the position. But obviously, we don't want to use 0, okay? We actually want to use I. Okay. So with that done, we expect that the items, each item will be incremented by 5. 5 will be added to each value. Obviously, we have done that. Let's create another loop to see if that is true. So I'm going to create another loop after I have done that job, but this time I want to just print the results again. Okay, so I print up here, I expect to see 11 to 77. I use this second loop to actually make the changes, and then I use another loop to print the elements again to verify that indeed the changes were made. Okay, so notice the pattern. If I want to do some work in an array, I use a loop. If I want to print the values, I use a loop. All right, so let me go and let me compile. Okay, let me run. Okay, so let me go up some more. Okay, so it prints 11 to 77. The second loop runs, and so notice the numbers go from 16 to 27, 38, and so on. Okay, however, it only seems to be printing 2 of them. Right? So why is that happening? I want to see all of them. Okay, so I'm guessing it's probably just doing what I do. All right, so let's try again. Let's see if we can get all 3 of them to print. So step 1. Okay, so let's put here cout. Step 1. Okay. I'm doing this because I want to demonstrate to you that the numbers did in fact change. Okay, so this is not something you would typically do, but since I am teaching, I use a lot of different strategies so that you can see what's happening. All right, so always bear that in mind, that when you see me writing extra code, normally we don't do this, but I'm doing it because I want you to I want to get the picture across to you in a more clear manner. All right, okay, so let's see if this allows us to see everything now. All right, let me open my terminal and let me use all of the window. Let's try again. Let me see if I can get everything shown. Okay, much better. Okay, step one, we get the numbers printed. All right, step two, okay, it does the calculation. And finally, step three, it shows you the results. Okay, all right, so actually it should show you two printing. All right, so I was mistaken. I completely forgot that I didn't have any cout in here, right? I didn't. Okay, great. So with that little debugging out of the way, I realized I didn't have any printout in here. That's why I wasn't seeing anything. All right, and that's the way programming is. You sometimes have to go over your code and see why you're not getting what you thought you would have been getting. In this case, I assumed there would be a cout, although I didn't put any, and so that was my mistake. So I have a cout here and I have a cout here. That's why we only have two couts. Okay, so in any case, I'm going to put a new line here just to separate the two. Okay. Okay, so a new line before, a new line after, which basically just gives me two lines. Okay, so again, recompile, rerun. Okay, good. All right, so you'll see us doing this a lot, where let me get rid of this. You'll see us do this a lot, and you will be doing this a lot, where you have an array and you will use a loop to go through the items in the array and somehow update them. All right, so that's the pattern of how to do that. You set up the for loop and then you write the code to update the elements. So for example, if I wanted, I could say instead of instead of adding, I could say that values I is 2 times values I. Okay, plus maybe values 6, right? And that's a perfectly valid computation, right? The compiler will simply say, okay, 2 times value I, get a result, add it to value 6, and then that final answer will be put back in values I. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Compile, run. All right, so we have much bigger numbers, 99 all the way down to 231. Okay, again, these numbers are not that important. What is important is what I'm trying to get across to you. When you want to update the values in the array, you use a loop. Okay, and then you put the computation inside. Okay, so I hope that made sense. Let's keep going. I want to now switch to using loops to do more advanced stuff, as you will see. See you then.